Welcome to my class. Welcome, dear students.
की आत्मकथा माय एक्सपेरिमेंट्स विद ट्रूथ से इस पाठ को लिया गया है। यह पाठ हमें गांधी जी के बचपन के अनुभवों से अवगत कराता है। सत्यवादिता एवं ईमानदारी इन गुणों की छवि उनमें बचपन से ही परिलक्षित होती है। I must have been about 7 when my father left Porbandar for Rajkot to become a member of the Rajasthani court. There I was put up to a primary school, and I can well recollect those days, including the names and other particulars of the teachers who taught me. As at Porbandar, so here, there is hardly anything to note about my studies. I could only have been a mediocre student. From this school, I went to the suburban school and then to the high school, having already reached my 12th year. I do not remember having ever told a lie during this short period, either to my teachers or to my schoolmates. I used to be very shy and avoided all company. My books and my lessons were my sole companions. To be at school and at the stroke of the hour and to run back home as soon as the school closed, that was my daily habit. I literally ran back because I could not bear to talk to anybody. I was even afraid lest anyone should poke fun at me. Two incidents belonging to this period have always clung to my memory. As a rule, I had a distaste for any reading beyond my school books. The daily lessons had to be done because I disliked being taken to task by my teacher as much as I disliked deceiving him. Therefore, I would do the lessons, but often without my mind on them. Thus, when even the lessons could not be done properly, there was, of course, no question of any extra reading. But somehow my eyes fell on a book purchased by my father. It was Shravana Pitri Bhakti Nataka, a play about Shravana's devotion to his parents. I read it with intense interest. There came to our place about the same time traveling showmen. One of the pictures I was shown was of Shravana carrying his blind parents on a pilgrimage. The book and the picture left an indelible impression on my mind. Here is an example for you to copy, I said to myself. The agonized lament of the parents over Shravana's death is still fresh in my memory. The melting tune moved me deeply, and I played it on a concertina which my father had bought for me. There was a similar incident connected with another play. Just about this time, I had secured my father's permission to see a play performed by a certain dramatic company. This play, Harish Chandra, captured my heart. I could never be tired of seeing it. But how often should I be permitted to go? It haunted me, and I must have acted Harish Chandra to myself several times. Why should not all be truthful like Harish Chandra? Was the question I asked myself day and night. To follow truth and to go through all the ordeals Harish Chandra went through was the one ideal which inspired in me. I literally believed in the story of Harish Chandra. The thought of it all too often made me weep. My common sense tells me today that Harish Chandra could not have been a historical character, but for me, both Harishchandra and Shravana are living realities, and I'm sure I should be touched as before I were to read again those plays today. There was another such incident during the time when I was in the 7th standard. Dorabji Edalji Jimi was the headmaster then. He was popular among the boys, though he was a disciplinarian. He was a man of method and a good teacher. He had made gymnastics and cricket compulsory for the boys of the upper standards. I disliked both. I never took part in any exercise, cricket or football before they were made compulsory. My shyness was one of the reasons for this aloofness, which I now see was wrong. I then had the false notion that gymnastics had nothing to do with education. Today I know that physical training should have as much place in the curriculum as mental training. But though I was none the worse for having neglected exercise, I am still paying the penalty of another neglect. I do not know from where I got the notion that good handwriting was not a necessary part of education, but I retained it until I went to England. I then saw that bad handwriting should be regarded as a sign of an imperfect education. Let every young man and woman understand that good handwriting is a necessary part of education.